This video is pretty scary, so let me know if at any point in time you need some space. Okay, first on the list we have a photograph of an ISS impact chip surrounded by nothing more than the vast expansion of dark space. It appeared on the International Space Station after a piece of space debris collided with the European-built cupola that had been added to the station back in 2010. The cupola, a dome-shaped formation which acts as an observatory and work area on the station, is equipped with 7 large windows that provide incredible views of space, Earth, and celestial objects. The area is also where the crew of the ISS operate the station's robotic arms. The windows are made with fused silica quartz sand, melted by electrical fusion, then rapidly cooled to avoid recrystallization, and borosilicate glass, a glass made with boron carbon oxide, much more resistant to thermal shock than any other glass type. As you can imagine, these window panes are not only incredibly strong, but they were built to last. And so of course, residents aboard the ISS were incredibly shocked to discover a 7mm diameter chip had been made in one of the windows, caused by a microscopic piece of space debris, most likely no more than a few thousandths of a millimeter. Of course, even minimal damage to any area of the space station is of great concern to the integrity of its structure as well as the safety of the residents, and so this comes as a very ominous warning sign of what might happen if an object, say the size of a golf ball, were to make impact. Next on the list, we have an image captured of Tycho, the zombie star. What is a zombie star, you ask? Well, it's a star that died in a fire explosion and then came back to life by sucking the matter out of other stars. Totally unrelated side note, our sun is a star. Anyways, zombie stars are generally referred to as Type 1a supernovas, a supernova being the biggest explosion that humans have ever seen, each blast being an extremely bright and super powerful explosion of a single star. So I guess in the simplest of terms available to space sciences, zombie supernovas are that, but twice. But that's not even what makes this photo of Tycho so scary. It's the fact that scientists believe that they can use Tycho as a way to practically measure dark energy. While it's currently just a working theory, dark energy is basically an anti-gravity force that fills the universe with negative pressure, expanding and stretching the very fabric of space and time. Think of dark energy as helium filling up a balloon, and the balloon as the universe. The dark energy helium pushes against the parameters of our universe balloon, making it grow bigger and bigger at a rapid rate. Lucky for us, the universe isn't actually a balloon, so we don't really need to worry about it popping, but you might consider what would happen if, due to expansion, our planet became too far from the sun. Next on the list, we have this incredibly haunting photograph of an astronaut free-floating in the endless expansion of space. The photo depicts astronaut Bruce McCandless II participating in the first ever spacewalk in which an astronaut is completely detached from the ship. No tether or rope whatsoever. Instead, he is equipped with a nitrogen-propelled hand-controlled device called the Manned Maneuvering Unit, MMU, which allows him to maneuver around the International Space Station with much more ease than if he were attached to a tether. Pretty cool, but also pretty scary, because if the MMU were to fail on him, with no way to maneuver himself, McCandless would become caught in Earth's orbit, floating slowly around in the vacuum of space until his orbit and the orbit of the ISS, which makes 16 full rotations around the Earth per day, eventually matched up. At which point in time, however, rescue would prove futile, as hypoxia, which is a lack of oxygen, would have already claimed the life of the astronaut. Okay, well, actually what would happen is the Soyuz, which is a small transport vessel, would be detached from the ship to rescue the astronaut and bring him back safely aboard the ISS. But I bet I had you in the first half, though. Next up, we have a generated photo released by NASA showcasing the inevitable head-on collision of our own galaxy with a neighboring galaxy by the name of Andromeda. When this happens, it is predicted by NASA that our sun will be flung into a new region of our galaxy, leaving Earth and our entire solar system to become frigid, lifeless, and inhospitable. The worst part of all of this is that it's scheduled to take place in the year 2026. I'm obviously kidding. It's actually scheduled for 4 billion years from now, so I highly advise against draining your bank account and telling your boss what you really think of them anytime soon. This information was discovered using the Hubble telescope and extremely complicated data processing, which allowed scientists and astronomers to track the trajectory of the galaxies as well as their speeds. Oh, and one more thing. If you're not one of those people who think three's a crowd, you'll be happy to know that while the majority of the cataclysmic collision will be solely between Andromeda and our own Milky Way, there is a third party at play. The Triangulum galaxy that is actually racing against Andromeda in an effort to merge with the Milky Way first. Damn, the universe just can't get enough of us, can it? I'm gonna cut you guys some slack at our halfway point today and offer an insanely beautiful, slightly ominous, and incredibly humbling photograph of Earth taken from the Cassini-Huygens, a highly sophisticated robotic spacecraft orbiting Saturn on July 19th of 2013. Cassini had been sent into space in 1997 to study the complex makeup of Saturn's rings as well as its many moons, 146 moons to be exact, making Saturn our solar system's reigning most moons champion. While this photo isn't the most bone-chilling, it's a pretty haunting reminder of the insignificant reality of our existence. But again, before you go draining your bank account, just remember that in an instance like this, where you realize nothing really matters, it just means you get to be the one that decides what really matters to you. Wow, things got pretty deep there for a moment, so let's talk about pumpkin stars. Pumpkin stars are stars that spin so fast they actually flatten themselves into the shape of gourds. The reason these stars spin so rapidly is thought to be due to the fact that they are created by the merging of two separate sun-like stars into one. It's like when two line dancers hook arms and swing each other around the room, using the rotations of the other to improve the speed of their own until they merge into one massive pumpkin-shaped country music fan. Well, I guess it's not really like that, but it kind of is. Anyways, the rare star, or should I say stars, as astronomers have discovered 18 of these guys since May of 2009, were found using X-ray detection and star mapping. This worked incredibly well because these Halloween-ready, catastrophic supernovas waiting to happen produce X-rays at levels more than 100 times the peak levels of X-ray production ever recorded from our own sun. Oh, and some of these pumpkin stars measure up to 10 times larger than our sun as well. Next up, we have another ominous photograph taken from space of the eye of a typhoon hovering in Earth's atmosphere, showing off the extreme magnitude of our planet's natural forces. The image was captured by members aboard the ISS on March 31st of 2015 as the storm made its way towards the Philippines. The astronauts looking down into the eye of the storm stated that it was an incredibly unsettling image and even compared it to images of black holes, with the clouds circling the eye resembling disks of glowing matter being pulled into the center of a black hole. When Typhoon Masek did eventually touch down, it caused many fatalities as well as inflicted mass amounts of destruction to properties and land in the Philippines, China, Chuuk, the Marshall Islands, and the Caroline Islands as well. Next on the list, we have an image of a gigantic solar flare that occurred when the intense magnetic fields of the sun became tangled up in one another, then snapped back into place, causing this drastic reaction. When solar flares occur, the energy released is more than 1,000,000 times greater than energies released during the largest megavolcano eruptions on Earth. While it is incredibly rare that a solar flare reaches Earth, it does happen, and the outcome is not so good. If you see my video on doomsday cults, you remember that one of my biggest fears is the existence of humanity coming to an end as the result of global power grid failure. If you haven't guessed where I'm going with this, allow me to explain. In rare cases where solar flares have reached Earth, they have created geomagnetic storms which can absorb and reflect radio frequencies, disrupting communication and satellite systems. And these findings aren't just speculation. In 1859, the largest solar flare to hit Earth caused massive disturbances in our magnetic field and disrupted telegraph systems, causing them to spark and catch fire. This later became known as the Carrington event. Now, just imagine if we were to get hit by an even bigger solar flare today, which is completely probable, by the way. With the amount of new electronic devices in use in the 21st century, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to imagine the insane amount of damage that would be caused. This next one is for my sci-fi fans. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. In fact, I like you guys, so I'm gonna hit you with a 2-for-1. The first is a photograph captured by the Mars rover of a doorway found on Mars, carved into the rock on the surface of the planet. The passageway appears to be leading to some kind of underground bunker, and while scientists have denied the entrance's existence, many hold firm that what they saw was in fact an entryway to a secret alien meeting spot. I don't know, you guys, what do you think about this one? The second and final photograph in our Mini Mars series is a mysterious light. On June 16th, the rover snapped a series of images, of which one showcased a mysterious glowing light off in the distance. The key here is that only one of the images showed the unknown light source. If the glow had been spotted in all of the images, it might have been chalked up to light reflection or a speck of dust on the lens. But again, that's not the case. Some scientists believe the light to have been caused by a cosmic ray hitting the planet's atmosphere, but again, let me know what you guys think. And finally, to finish us off today, we have a series of haunting images taken on the ISS, complete with mood lighting fit for a romantic extraterrestrial date night. The photos were taken by Alexander Gerst during the night after the rest of his colleagues had gone to bed. Okay, I'm a full-on adult and I'm still scared of the dark sometimes, and that's on Earth, so I can only imagine how it would feel to roam around the International Space Station in the dead of night with nothing more to guide me than the dim green glow coming from the ship's various equipment stations. I guess it's not so bad though. You see, the ISS actually orbits around the Earth once every 90 minutes, so even though these images are incredibly eerie, the darkness only lasts for about 45 minutes each time it comes. But even with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and chop this one up to a big fat no from me. But let me know what you guys think. Would you ever take a walk along the dimly lit wild side of space exploration? Thank you all so much for making it to the end of today's video. I've been your host, Hannah Thompson, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.